If you have not had the opportunity to say hello, unmute and say hello. We'll get the call started here in about 30 seconds. Okay, let's get this call started. This is, wow, it's May, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2021. And here we are. It's another Wednesday, and we are very fortunate to be here because we get to be educated by one of the greatest educators in this arena, in my opinion. I might be a little biased, but so what? But our host for the call, Ron Schneider, he's here tonight. So Ron, I just want to bring you, I'm glad I got a chuckle out of you. That was the intent. So Ron, welcome to the call. Appreciate you being here, always.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to tonight's call. And again, like you, I'd like to welcome all and any new listeners that we have for the first time on the call. A lot of people come on these calls and kind of just listen in, but really aren't sure what to do or ask or how to participate. So I just want to invite all of those people in. Biden, mind everyone.
Hey, Ron.
That will be.
You're breaking up a little bit on my end. Is anyone else having an issue hearing Ron?
Yeah, he's breaking up.
Can everybody hear me okay?
You're breaking up. You're in and out, Ron. You may want to hang up and call back in.
Yeah, I was going to say back.
No problem. We'll wait. We'll wait because we have to. We need your information, brother. We need you too. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Ron should be joining us here momentarily. A little bit of a connectivity issue. And as he was saying to all of the new guests that are either online tonight or will be watching this on the internet, welcome to you. Ron has been doing these calls for over 2 decades. At least one individual that I know on the call has been following and tracking that for much of those decades. But Ron is a dark field amino-enzymologist. He studied the role that specifically enzymes have played.
Okay, can everybody hear me now?
Yeah, Ron, welcome back.
Yep. Is that better?
Much.
Okay, good. Anyway, I was saying earlier, I don't have a lot of, as far as topics and items for tonight, just have some cleanups and some reminders and also some updates on our product inventory. Just want to remind everybody this week, and then we have 2 more weeks, and then we'll be off for all summer, and we won't be having these conference calls until Labor Day. So I just wanted to remind everybody, if you got anybody who wants to get on these calls over the next couple of weeks, please remind people to do so. Product inventory, we are completely out of 270 count enzymes now, other than what little bit we have for the internet, the e-commerce business through Talia. We are completely out of the daily detox now, other than what we have through the internet. The wholesale side has absolutely nothing. We're getting limited on Sterile Max. We've only got about 4 master cases of that, so put that in perspective. 4 times 10, we only have 40 cases, and that might seem to a lot for some of you, but normally I could go through 4 to 6 master cases in literally one order with one wholesale customer. So if you're planning on using Sterile Max on a regular basis, you might want to consider ordering just a little bit more of that before we run out. I do have product coming in to replace all the stuff that we have that we are out of, the 270 enzymes, the daily detox, getting real limited on the calcium and the Steromax. And the 270 enzymes, we're going to be out for a while because those are not due to come in until the middle of July. And I placed that order last December. So everything I have now is an 8-month minimum turnaround time because of COVID and just different countries like India and Japan and European countries still are shut down or very, very limited, which slows down the supply chain tremendously. So anyway, that's where we're at. So, and like I said, the 270 enzymes, and we have a very limited backup supply of starter enzymes to replace the 270s until they get in July. We've only got 5 master cases of those total. So that will be going out probably before the 1st of June. And again, the only place to get that is through the website. So that's an update on the products. And we should have daily detox in somewhere toward the end of June. And then we should have our enzymes in July. And then we've got more aloe and probiotics and multivitamins. And there's one other one that we have coming in August. So, but we are going to be out for anywhere between 4 to 6, 7 weeks on most of the products that I just mentioned. So if we still have them in stock, you might want to order a couple months supply of them anyway. As far as topics goes, you know, I wanted to kind of talk just very briefly, and I'm not sure why I'm even talking about it, other than I personally know that this actually has a tremendous influence for diabetics. Magnesium, 750 milligrams a day of magnesium will help you utilize insulin much, much better to where you can cut down your insulin use by about 80% and still have the benefits of lowering your blood glucose levels. I'm not sure how that all works yet. Definitely the company that brought it out promoted it and said that it did this, didn't give any kind of research or explanation as to why and how specifically it did this. And but I've used it. I know other people that have used it that are diabetic, and it does tremendously well with controlling blood sugar levels, as well as actually helping clean up the blood and oxygenate your blood. But I'm just not sure the mechanism of how that all works, and it's definitely something I'm going to be looking into and researching over this summer, because it makes a huge difference. And when I first brought to my attention, I'm like, that can't work. And they're like, no, it works for me. And I used it. I am a diabetic and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so I started looking into it a little bit more and talking to some of my other friends. And this all started at about a month and a half ago. And they started using it with their own diabetic meds and stuff. And sure enough, it more than doubled the amount of drop in the blood glucose numbers just within a matter of a couple of weeks after starting it. And everybody noticed the same thing. So that's something I'm definitely going to look into and really understand the mechanisms of the whys and the hows. And that'll be probably some of the first things we talk about when we get back on Labor Day. And other than that, I really don't have a whole lot more as far as marketing materials. I'm still trying to write an expanded catalog, and that's definitely something I'll have done over the summer, because I've got all the base stuff. We just got to go through and tighten it all up, and we'll end up with about pretty close to about a 65-page catalog on all of the Enriching Gifts products and exactly what each ingredient does, how it does it, why it does it, they'll have all the educational stuff anybody would ever want to look at and determine, do I want to take this product and how does it work and how do I benefit and so on and so forth. So that has still been in the works for months now. In fact, it was laying on my desk last October, and I just haven't got to the time to finish it up yet. That's definitely something I'm going to be finishing up over the summer months. And that's about it. That's all I have, Dover. And if you have anything that you want to kind of bring in and add, just go ahead. And then I'd like to see if we have any people on the line, because that's why we do these calls each and every week, that actually have any health questions or concerns about some of the drugs or some of the protocols or disease or illnesses that they're dealing with. So go ahead and take it away, Dover.
Absolutely. Yeah. No questions. No, really, no comments here. We do have one in the chat. It's from Michael Wu. He says, any products that will help with cerebral palsy?
Oh, help in what way, I guess, would be the question that I specifically have. Is there any way to bring him on live and actually have a conversation rather than a chat through the computer? Cerebral palsy is usually a genetic, what do you want to call it? It's not a deteriorative condition. It's a genetic flaw when a baby is born. Most people don't develop cerebral palsy in their 50s or 60s or something like that. It's something that you're actually born with, and it's almost like a birth defect. So to say that there's something that would help, only thing I could do is say the amino acids, but again, we're pretty much almost out of those completely, and the enzymes. Because again, amino acids are, when you think about the brain has mostly sugar that it uses as its energy source, but the brain itself, as far as nutrients that it uses to function outside of the glucose or the glycogen specifically, is amino acids. So the enzymes and amino acids would be the two that I think would probably most help with that, and possibly the metabolic complete, because it does have the antioxidant in there that crosses the blood-brain barrier. So those would be the only three that might help. I guess I'd want a more specific question as to how he's asking it might help. What specifics is he looking to address?
All right. Anybody have any questions or comments? Unmute yourself and ask away. Don't be shy.
Going to be a short call this evening. Nobody has any
Yeah,
comments?
hello, Ron. Now this
Yeah,
is, I
go
got
ahead.
Van. I got somebody asking about the macular degeneration of the eyes, I guess, and from cataracts and stuff like that. What can they do?
Well, it's the macular nerve is what macular degeneration is all about. It's the macular nerve that degenerates and actually causes blindness eventually. There's glaucoma, which has really nothing to do with the macular nerve. That's more of a coating over the eye, impairing, and you have a gray spot and everything starts to become fuzzy and you start to lose your eye because of a coating over the eye. Macular degeneration, it's funny that they're definitely something that people can do. And again, it's so sad that we don't have our amino acid product that we can get enough sales to actually warrant carrying that right now. Because Pat Roberts at Pat Roberts University from the 700 Club, and this was way back in 1994. This is a long time ago, 25, 27 years ago, something like that. They actually did a study on macular nerve degeneration at the university, the medical school for Pat Roberts University. And they found that the macular nerve itself degenerates because of the deficiency of amino acids. And they took 4 or 5 amino acids, and I think it was 4 specifically, and they actually placed them in high amounts in people that had significant macular nerve degeneration. And they were able to actually reverse that condition. And most of these people were in their early to mid 80s that were in that study. So I'd say when you're above 75, your chances of fully regenerating and reversing anything are pretty slim to none. Can you improve it? Slightly. Can you stabilize it and keeping it from getting worse? Oh, absolutely. But they were able to actually reverse macular degeneration with the supplement of, it's either 3 or 4 amino acids. And I can't remember what the amino acid name was, but if you get just an amino acid complex, that would tremendously help whoever's asking about that band. They had really significant results. And it wasn't some exclusive fandangled amino acid. It was just one of the normal amino acids. So it's not hard to find in a health food store or anything like that. So did you need anything else to be answered with that question?
let's see, anything about cataracts are in there too, they run?
Well, cataracts, you could actually significantly slow the development of cataracts down by using the digestive enzymes and the metabolic complete. And if you're a younger person, and say you're in your 50s, maybe your early 60s, there's a good chance you could actually get rid of that condition by long-term use of the enzymes and the metabolic complete. But when you're in your 70s, 80s, that cover-up or that film, I'll call it, it's really thick and it's hard for any enzymes or even your immunity to get to it, to where it would actually dissolve it down. So then you got to go in and have it surgically removed. But it's a protein buildup over top of the iris and the cornea and the eye that causes glaucoma. But get on the enzymes and the metabolic, just get on them and stay on them for the rest of your life. Otherwise, that condition does come back. And it's really not well known as to where that protein that causes that film buildup actually comes from in the body, but we know it comes from some part of the body. But it's not like your typical fibrin or thrombin, or it's not any of the inflammatory proteins that the protein buildup on the eye that causes glaucoma. It's not one of the normal proteins. It's not an autoimmune disorder. It's definitely a degenerative aging disorder. So, but the enzymes, they're just, they'll break down foreign proteins just like they do in the bloodstream, just like they do in your stomach. Well, it's no different on your eye. You just have to have good blood circulation to get there and deliver those enzymes so that they can start dissolving that stuff to prevent that buildup.
Okay.
Hey, is there anything else you had? No?
Another one that's before I go, another friend has got pneumonia in the hospital right now. What can,
well, unfortunately, the things do, not much we can do about it now. Pneumonia is a bacteria. And that's why I keep talking and preaching sometimes. I just can't get it through people's heads. When you're healthy and you're fine and having a great day, that's not the time to be sitting there and not thinking about supplements that are going to benefit your immune system. I had pneumonia once here about 3 years ago. I went out and mowed my back lawn up here at the training center, and it was the very first mowing of the year, and it was very dry. And when I went through, I had a whole bunch of goose crap, because we literally have hundreds of geese that just nest and sit right on our backyard because we have such beautiful long grass. They chew and eat the grass. And anyway, I went mowing, and up comes all this doggone white goose poop dust. And I breathed that in, and literally within an hour of mowing, I was down on the back parking the mower trying to come up the hill. And I was literally climbing on all fours, my hands and knees, trying to get up the hill because I couldn't breathe. So I went into the doctor the next day. Sure enough, I had atypical pneumonia. And it was just from that bacteria and all that feces and stuff over the winter months. And luckily, all I did was took our colloidal silver. 3 days later, it was gone. Gone, nothing. But that's because I have a good immune system. That's because I take Steromax every single day. That's because I use enzymes every single meal. So it's very easy to recover from that. But one thing I do know is that pneumonia, once you have it, just like everything else, that bacteria, if you get any part of it left behind that learns where to hide from your immune system, you're very susceptible to easily getting a pneumonia again as a reoccurrence on a regular basis. And sometimes, the people that die from pneumonia in the hospital, you have a history of pneumonia outbreaks for the previous 5-10 years up to their death. So get on the Steromax, get on the enzymes, get on the probiotics, get that immune system up and built, and keep it clean in the blood environment with the enzymes. But unfortunately, like I said, there's not a whole lot that you're going to be able to do other than the drugs and the antibiotics and their own immune system cleaning it up. But get on the enzymes, Steromax, and the probiotics to prevent that stuff. You should never have to get sick from that kind of stuff. And if you do, you should never have to be hospitalized for it. I just went in to make sure that it was what I thought it was. So I told my wife, I said, I guarantee you it's atypical pneumonia. And I went in there and literally the doctor says, well, yeah, you're right. How'd you know that? And I said, because I'm a smart guy and I know a whole lot about medicine. And she goes, well, do you want some antibiotics? And I said, no, I just got to go home and pick my silver and stuff. I already know what to do about it. So went home, and 3 days later it was gone. And I've never had anything come back since. But yeah, it's can't say enough. Your quality of life and disease and prevention and all that stuff, it's all about the immune system and a clean bloodstream. I can't preach that enough, and I'll keep preaching until the day I die. Because what we do here at Enriching Gifts is all about staying healthy, not reacting and trying to figure out how to come back from a severe disease or illness. That's not really what I promote or what I stand for. It's all about prevention, living a great day with great quality of life. That's what I like to see everybody do, but there's certain things you have to do every day in order to accomplish those results.
Okay, Ron.
So do you have
Thank
anything
you very
else?
much. That's
Okay,
all I
yeah,
got. Who's
appreciate it.
next? No, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you,
All
Ron.
righty, thank you. Anybody else have any questions, comments for the call tonight? Anybody? No? Well, Dover, that's all I have for tonight, unless you have something else.
No, I don't, Ron. That was we'll wrap it up here, but no, great call. Great questions. Really, it's the questions from everyone that make these calls outside of Ron educating us. So appreciate everyone stepping out there, Van, and the Ronnie and whoever else asked questions. Appreciate you. So Ron, we'll be back next week, which is May 12th. And then the 19th and then the 26th is we'll wrap up till after Labor Day,
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
Right, yeah. So we have 3 calls left.
That's right. All right. So hey, this for those of you and if you know anybody who's having some challenges, or there's nothing like telling them yourself versus having them hear it directly from the horse's mouth. And I am not suggesting that Ron's a horse. But he's a wealth of knowledge. And so by having him on the call is a really great way for that individual to interact. It's very simple. You just share the information with them, the number. They're not going to get a sales pitch here. It's all about education and the natural, consequence of someone who's aware and being informed is they have questions. And those questions can be asked on these calls. And then the solution that I found, and many of us have found, we wouldn't be on this call, is what Ron has put together with his Enriching Gifts formulas and product line. So if this is your first time listening to the call, you can go to www.enrichinggifts.com, the website. That's Enriching Gifts, 2 G's, ENRICHINGGIFTS.com. And on there, we have all of the calls archived. And if you don't know, since the beginning of 2021, January, probably second, third week, we did a series with Ron where we actually went over each product within the Enriching Gifts product family, as well as some history about Ron and the company. So if you've not had an opportunity to listen to that, I would encourage all of you to do that. It's in the About Us page and archives, and some really great information. It really, sets Enriching Gifts apart from pretty much anybody else or any other. It's not about bashing anybody or competition. It's more about results and how does he get those results, and that's what he shares in his product formulas and the education there. So I'm long-winded, but I do appreciate everyone's attention and to these calls and being here and being present. We can increase our impact, I guess is what I'm saying, by bringing others here that we care and love about. So with that being said, Ron, I appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Everyone have a great rest of your week, and this call's a wrap. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Dover. Good night, everybody. Have a great week.
Thanks, Ron. Such a great influencer and a great educator.